Hey everyone, happy Online Anime Club April 2020. So due to the closures of our city buildings, a lot of our programming is going to be shifting online for the foreseeable future, including Anime Club. So let's get started. We have a little bit of housekeeping. Based on the responses that I got back from the survey over the past few months, thank you if you got yours back to me. You are unanimous in enjoying the mini lectures that we do at the beginning of our meetings, so that's great. I'm really glad that we're all enjoying Kathy's legacy, really, and that also gave me an in to transition to video for this month, so I'm happy we had something to fall back on, that we still had a way to deliver this program to you at home. Second, I promised we were going to talk about Himoto Umaru-chan this month, but I'm saving that for when we can all get together again in person. So, two of these three anime episodes that I'll be talking about do have some especially cute moments, so I hope that kind of compensates. The rules for Online Anime Club are pretty much the same, so in our meetings, the rules are be respectful, please keep your voice down, clean up after yourself, and stack your chairs. And at home, you still have to be respectful, keep your volume at a reasonable level, clean up after yourself if you choose to make the recipes that I'm going to be talking about, and also, instead of stacking your chairs, you can make your bed, I don't know. So last month, before we got started with the main topic, I made a manga recommendation of A Man and His Cat, which is still cute, by the way, and I still think you ought to check it out. But in light of the circumstances, instead of continuing with that, I wanted to pass on one of the best pieces of advice I've seen for coping with what's happening right now, being stuck at home. So in addition to reading, trying to get a little exercise, holding a routine, etc., all good things, the best tidbit I have seen is to laugh. Try to find something to laugh at every day. Not a giggle, not a chuckle, like a good belly laugh. So for me, that's been my friends, but also Animal Crossing memes, watching the Try Guys, and my cat being goofy. So I invite you to give that a try. You're allowed to be upset because what's happening right now is scary and disruptive, but I still wanted to share that tidbit with you just in case it helps keep your outlook a little bit brighter. So now let's get on to the main lecture. So the main topic is anime recipes. I wasn't planning on running this theme so soon. I thought it would have been nice to try doing one of these recipes together, and we still might in the future, but in light of the fact that we are all stuck inside, the video format is perfect for me to suggest some activities that you can do from home. So my goal here is to present some popular Japanese dishes and an anime episode that features that food. So let's start with cooking and we'll see what happens for May. You will remember my work of art that I'm very proud of still. At our last meeting, I waxed poetic about ramen and all its wonders as a delicious comfort food, and I stand by everything I said, so let's build on my attempts to encourage you to love Japanese cuisine. So first, breakfast. Tamagoyaki and onigiri, which might be described as a fluffy rolled omelet and rice balls. These are really common dishes used in a Japanese breakfast, also common bento items. I'm sure you know what a bento box is. Personally, I love both. I can last from here till the end of time so long as I have eggs, rice, and hot sauce. That is genuinely the source of my power. So beyond that, eggs and rice are also just good building blocks for developing cooking skills in general. I'm not sure where you guys are at with that, but I know eggs are one of the first things that I ever learned how to cook, so let's pass that lesson on to you. I'm going to offer some video recommendations for if you'd like to try making the dish yourself. There are a bunch of different videos online for fluffy omelets and rice balls, but this one seemed pretty exemplary. It's from the Food for Gabs channel. As you'll see, what makes this omelet dish different from a Western omelet is number one, the fact that it's made in a special square tamagoyaki pan, and two, the way the egg is layered, so in very thin slices, sometimes with other ingredients inside. If you don't have a pan like that lying around, I know I don't, you can still achieve something really similar with a smaller round pan that gives you more control of the egg. So if you're watching the video and you think I don't have that kind of equipment still, you can probably still give it a try with what you have on hand. As for the onigiri, rice balls are such a staple and they are so good. You can stuff them with anything you like, but fish and meat are popular. I've spoken with you guys a few times now about the Anime North convention held in Toronto. It's been canceled this year, which is the safe decision, but if you ever get the chance, there is a booth there with the best onigiri that comes back every year, so maybe someday you'll want to check that out. Oh, and one fun fact about onigiri. So the English translation of the old Pokemon cartoon that was popular when I was young described the onigiri on screen as jelly donuts, presumably because the show producers thought that that would be more relatable to an English audience. When I was young, I didn't question that at all because everyone loving donuts made perfect sense. So there you go. If you were already eating these, then you've got a leg up on a 9-year-old me. So the anime that I'm suggesting for this dish is Mawaru Penguindrum, episode 1. It's about two brothers and their sister. They're all adopted siblings. I think it's only the younger brother who was biologically related to their parents. She's deathly ill and brought back to life by an enchanted penguin hat. Spoiler alert. The show has little chunky penguins in it also. The girl is also somehow a magical girl, complete with a transformation sequence. The first episode I found was a little bit emotionally jarring in some of the transitions that it makes, and I'm a little bit lost, and I haven't watched past the first episode, so I can't speak too much on the quality of the show, but I will say that based on the first episode, I want to watch more, if only for the food and the penguins. I like the way they presented breakfast as a nice bonding moment between the siblings, and this is something that feels a little bit different than the shows that we've talked about already, so I thought I'd toss this out here and see what you guys thought. We should try something a little new. Next up, we have the curry bun, something you could serve for lunch or dinner or a snack. It doesn't matter. Time is not real when you're in the middle of a pandemic. So curry is something that you've probably seen in anime before, but maybe not in a bun. So the nice thing about this video that I found from the Feast of Fiction series on YouTube is it pulls its recipe, or bases its recipe, probably more accurate, on the episode that I'm recommending. So this recipe is coming from Black Butler, which I mentioned a few months ago is a favorite anime of mine. I like the way the family seems to be having a lot of fun making the recipe together, so I thought I'd pass that enjoyment on to you. So if you haven't watched any Black Butler before, it's about a young British lord in the Victorian era. He makes a deal with a demon in order to get revenge on the person who destroyed his family. The demon then becomes his butler in exchange for the lord's soul upon completion of their pact. Sounds a little spooky. It's not that bad. It's also pretty standard. Demons are always like, give me your soul, and the rest of us are like, man, please get a new hobby. So this is kind of a filler episode also, so it's a nice way to get a taste and see if this is something that you like without ruining the main plot for yourselves. And it's kind of funny, and the food looked really good. So in terms of understanding the dish a little bit better, curry dishes are pretty popular in Japan. Again, you've probably seen them in shows before. They became popular outside of India after England invaded. So in this episode, you'll also see a little bit more of the relationship between England and India. Around this time period. Most of you probably school-wise aren't there yet, but spoiler alert, Britain did colonize India. So pay attention to how that nice friendship sentiment at the end is very heartwarming, but also very fantastical in terms of what was actually happening history-wise at the time of this episode. So there's a little bit more analysis to give you, and maybe that's a topic for next month. We can talk about history and anime. And finally, we are up for dessert. So what could be better than a classic strawberry shortcake? Now, when people think of Japanese cuisine, they probably think more about sushi, rice dishes, and seafood, but actually in the dessert department, they are definitely no slouch, just as good as, say, for example, France in making creative, artistic, architecturally different sort of desserts if you give a quick Google search for that, but instead I thought I'd pick something a little bit more classic for you guys to try because it's easier, and then that also gives me an excuse to pull another Ouran episode, which you'll see in a minute. So I liked the way this video presented the recipe because I thought it was nice the way they mixed a little bit of strawberry into the cream inside the cake. In case you like that. As for this recipe, you also might want to try waiting on this one until strawberries are in season, but if you can make this now, it's also a way to cheer up everybody in your house. Unless you plan on eating the entire cake yourself, and in the midst of everything that's going on, I would be the last person to judge you. Speaking of eating an entire cake yourself, let's watch another episode of Ouran. If you remember, it's about a girl working undercover in a club that hosts fancy tea parties. So again, last month we watched an episode of Ouran that made you guys laugh quite a bit because of how much Honey Senpai loves cake, specifically strawberry shortcake. So I thought we it might be nice to follow up on that and demonstrate what happens when Honey Senpai doesn't get his cake. I've seen this episode at least a dozen times myself, and it still makes me laugh, so hopefully this helps you get a start on laughing as well. So that's it. If you try any of the recipes and post your creation on Instagram or online, please tag with my SCPL Anime Club because I'd love to see what you made and what you've been up to. I hope everyone's all right and that we'll see each other soon, but if not, I will definitely try to have another video ready for May. As an additional activity, side note, within the next few weeks, I should have a small craft video coming out for a Teru Teru Bozu that I really encourage you to check out because I picked it with you guys in mind. And that's it. That's all I got. So stay safe and stay healthy, and thank you for watching.